Alright, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back. This is part 2. So as you can see, I'm in my garage now for these Yoni chairs. She's opening up her own shop tomorrow, so that's why I look so congested and everything in here. But I do have all of this stuff over here, and a lot of this stuff is going over to her shop, so we're just basically holding it just until she get the shops open and stuff. So what I'm doing today is I'm going to be sanding these down and painting them, and then putting a foam backboard and then the vinyl strappings over top of it, and just clamping it down, so that way it gives it more of a finished, like, professional look. So without further ado, we go ahead and get started with the sanding part, and then I come right back to you. So I'm gonna sand one down, and then I'm gonna jump to the next one and sand that one down. Alright, y'all, so just also keep in mind that when you are sanding, you always want to make sure you go with the green. It just gives it more of a smoother look at the end. You see my dog over there, so he's whining because he wants to come out, but he doesn't listen. He likes to run off, and I got my garage door open, and I ain't got time for it because I'm trying to get these done. So without further ado, I'm gonna jump to the next one. So I'm gonna move this one out the way and jump to the next one. All right, I'm recording. All right, guys, so I'm done sanding. So my sandpaper was a little different than my sander, but it got the job done. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna use my blower and basically blow it off. So that way it's not, it still doesn't have all that dust on it before I start painting. Now I'm gonna lay down a sheet, a dryer, not a painting sheet, so that way it covers and don't get on my floor. All right, guys, so I blew it down, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a damp rag and basically just go over it just to kind of kill all of that excess dust. Then I'm gonna move them outside for right now, sweep up the area and lay down my plastic wrap so that way when I put them on there, it's not a bunch of excess dust, and then I'm gonna start painting. All right, so I'm about to do that real quick and I'll be right back with y'all. right, guys. So as you can see, I'm drenched in sweat. It's burning up hot outside. So what I did was moved everything out, moved some stuff over so I can get them in front of the camera so you can see a little better. But what I did, then I just laid some tarp. Let me show you guys. Hold on, give me a second. So I just laid some tarp down on the ground, put them on top of it, and then we're gonna start painting. So right now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and paint. And the paint that I'm using. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and paint. And the paint that I'm using is this paint. So I'll go ahead and zoom it in for you guys right here. So look at that. All right, so now once I'm gonna use that, then stir that up and get the paint in. So I'm gonna paint this one first, and then I'm gonna turn around and paint this one. So I'm gonna paint this one as much as I can. So this top right here, I'm gonna basically leave blank because it's gonna be covered with some foam and vinyl. So that way, there's no point in wasting paint if it's gonna be covered anyways. But basically everything else is gonna be painted. And once I finish with this one, I'm gonna go ahead and move over to this one, and then let this one dry. So that way, hopefully by the time I'm done with the second one, this one is dry, and then I can move on with the finishing of the back part of it. All right, so we jump right into it now. Let's go. All right, so guys, so you see I changed my shirt. I was drenching, and this one is already soaking wet as well. But what I did, went ahead and painted this whole bottom side of it. So that little strip at the bottom here, I'll zoom in for you guys. Here, it's basically just in case I have to leave a little bit of gap at the bottom. You don't see the wood. It just basically looks like it's all the way complete, so it's all black. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paint the back side of this one, and I'm gonna go ahead and paint the rest of this one, the bottom half of this one, and then I'll go ahead and jump to the back sides of them, and then that way I'll be able to finish off the back end of it, so kind of give you the finished look of it. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just speed through this, guys, and I'll come back. You guys don't have to watch this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and just jump straight to where I'm putting on the back end of this one. So when I come back, both of these will be painted, and we'll go from there. Just so you guys ain't sitting here watching. All right, guys. So I got them both painted. So as you can see, they're both painted all the way. Not really too much concerned about the inside of it because you won't see the inside because it's all decorated and everything. Once the doors are closed, everything is closed. So just outside basically that I'm main concern. She wants me to paint the inside, I'll paint it. But right now, just the outside that I'm concerned about. So what I did was I got some ultimate wood glue. And you guys didn't see me put that one up because I just wanted to test it and see how it was gonna work. Like, don't mind my sweatiness and everything. It's It's hot as heck outside. You see I'm in the garage, the garage door open. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and glue that side down with the foam to the back and let that dry for a little bit, for about 5 to 10 minutes, see how good that sticks. If not, then I'm probably gonna have to nail some of it down just to keep it in place. But we'll go ahead and do that next. And what I'm using for the back side, you can get this from the JOANN'S Fabric. And what it's called is a high density foam. So it's basically a 2-inch thick, and it's 22 by 22 inches in diameter and stuff like that, as far as for measurements, but it's actually 2 inches thick. So, and this is what it looks like. It comes 2 in a pack, and it's about $26.99. I'll go ahead and put that in the description below too as well, with all the other stuff that I used. All right. So as you guys can see, so what I'm gonna do is, so let me fix this camera for you guys. All right, so what I'm gonna do is just take it, go along the edges. I don't want nothing too major because I don't want it to drip down on the paint. So I just do a thin, and then in the middle, big X, and then inside the X's, some lines. And in the middle, I just basically putting a lot just to make sure it sticks. Because I don't want it, once it actually adheres to the wood, I don't want it to be shifting or anything like that. So what I did is, on the tops, as you can see, so here will be the top and here another top, I left a little gap, so that way once I do get it on, I can go ahead and basically glue the corners, so that way the corners stay still and everything else adheres. So this is what I'm gonna do now. So what I'm doing now is just basically pressing the glue and the foam onto the actual wood itself, so that it adheres and sticks a little bit better. And my main concern is the top right now. The bottom, if the bottom doesn't stick, what I'll do is I'll just come back afterwards once the top is all the way adhered, and then I'll just go ahead and stick the bottom back on. So what I'm doing now, like I said, I left that little gap. So I'm just adding a lot of it here. Even if it drips, it'll just drip straight onto the foam. Now I'm just going to give it a good press. Nice firm press, about 10 seconds. And go ahead and do it on the other side. So now I'll just sit there, and like I said, I'll let that dry for about 5 to 10 minutes. I'll come back over here and give this one some more. This doesn't look like it's sticking too good. Like I said, if this doesn't stick, I have to just use some nails just to make sure it actually sticks all the way. Add some more on this side too. It looks like it's actually working a little bit. Like I said, once I get the bottom on there, it should be stuck good enough, because once I get this on there and it's stuck in one spot, I go ahead and staple it down with the vinyl over top of it. So like I said, I went ahead and added the foam onto it. So as you can see, so I'll go ahead and give you guys a little glimpse of my progression so far. So I painted the whole outside of it. All right, so I painted that, then I painted like the little trims and everything, and then the back of it. So this is how the back looks. So I painted all of that, and then I just added the foams onto each of the boards. So this would be the backboard to where they're actually sit back all the way and just rest their backs and everything like that while they're actually getting the steam. So yeah, so like I said, I'll be back in about 5 to 10 minutes. I'll just go ahead and jump forward for you guys, so you guys not sitting here just watching this dry. Like I said, I'll let this dry for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then I'll jump back, and then I'll start measuring out the vinyl and everything like that. All right. Welcome back to DIY with the Joneses. So today, what we're going to be doing is just finishing up the Yoni steam throne chairs. So as you can see, we already painted it from last video. Everything is painted. I'll show you one of the finishes. So I already finished one, just to get like a taste of it and everything, just to see how it will actually be. So that way, when I'm recording and showing you guys will be able to see the finished product and how it's going to look, and then we'll actually go through the steps together. All right, so bring you guys over here. So this would be the finished product of how it looks. So what we did was we started off like this, how we finished it on the last one. As you can see on this one, what I did was I just basically cut holes out into the foam, and then we just used some of this batting. So we used some batting, then some adhesive spray glue. So this right here, some Gorilla adhesive spray glue, sprayed it on, pushed the batting through some of the holes and everything to give it more of like a cushion look. And then we added our vinyl covering to go over top of it and basically stapled it down and everything like that. And like I said, we're gonna go through all that again, so that way you guys can see it. We also added a little clip here. So if you look closely, just a little clip you get from Walmart or Lowe's, and it just basically keeps the door shut all the way. So now it's a flush shut and it's not sitting there like dangling, kind of how this one does. So I haven't added it on this one yet, but you see how that one kind of swings back open. So it swings back open, and once I add that lock, it'll basically keep it closed. So right now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and add the batting onto this one, and then we'll add the batting and then start with the vinyl, and then I'll go ahead and finish up with as far as like the shelving and everything on this one as well. So we'll jump straight into it. So here we go. So the two glues, like I said, that I'm using is an Elmer's Crafts Bond. This is water resistant, and then just some regular spray adhesive Gorilla, the heavy duty stuff. So this basically holds it firm, and this is just like an extra oomph to it. All right, so I added that on there. So what I'm gonna do is get the corners around and then cut the excess off. So the corners right now, I'm just gonna be spraying it along the sides, the tops and the bottoms and stuff, putting the batting all the way on there, and then go ahead and cutting the excess off. All right, so I added the batting on there. So like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and cut the excess off. So that way that doesn't make this part, the actual back part of it, a little too difficult. All right, so I cut all the excess off. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna take this. This is a piece of vinyl fabric. So I got this cut to 3 feet, to 4 feet by 3. So it's about, already comes 3 feet wide. And I just gotta cut 4 feet long. That gives me that extra playroom and stuff like that to go ahead and get the actual like holes and rivets and stuff, so I can push it into it and staple it. All right, so I'm gonna pull this one out just so I can get around it and be able to maneuver it around, so that way it's easy. All right, so I got it laid up to how I want it. So what I'll do is, first is what I'll go through and staple all of where I have the holes at already stapled up. So I'll just go ahead and push the staple through and staple that down so that way that sticks, and then I'll start tucking it on the sides. All right, now I went ahead and stapled it in all the little holes that I already created in the foam and the batting. So now I got it all stapled down back to the backboard of the throne chair. So what I'll go ahead and do is now I'm going to go ahead and trim all the excess that I have, and then start wrapping it around tight and tucking it, so that way it gives it that cushion backboard look. second, guys. All right, guys. So we jumped forward a little bit, so you guys wasn't just sitting there watching me just staple. So basically, all I did was just pull it tight, just tight enough to where it basically gave the end look. So here we go. So you got chair 1, and then chair 2, and then like I said, all I did was pull it all to the back and just staple it down, so that way it just stay still. What I'm going to do is probably add some more staples, just to make sure it doesn't move anymore. But as far as it being done, basically done. And this is how it will look at the end. So you have this chair, and you have your shelf down there. Like I said, you have your little lock that keeps the door done. And then you're basically done. And all you gotta do now after that is just basically drill a hole in the back so your outlet for your burner can actually go back there and heat up your water so you can get the steam going. So, all right, guys, without further ado, thank you for watching. Before you guys leave, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment below on what you guys want to see me build next. I have a bunch of other videos that I have linked into my description. And then up here, like I said, if you haven't seen the first one, up here in the corner. So I got this sitting right up here in the corner. It'll be my other link to part 1, where you can just go ahead and watch part 1 of how I actually started everything. So, all right, so without further ado, like I said, welcome. Thank you for watching DIY with the Joneses. And without further ado, we out here.